All right, as promised, we're joined right now by a guard for the Golden State Warriors coming off an enormous game yesterday. 31 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in that win over Memphis. He is averaging 21 points and more than 5 assists per game in the playoffs. 19 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. Or I should say 19 points in the regular season. 28th pick overall in 2019 out of Michigan. You've got game 2 of that series, Golden State at Memphis tomorrow. Jordan Poole is my guest. Jordan, it is great to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to have you. Thanks for making time for us. So you beat Memphis on the road by 1 after trailing by 13 at one point. After the game, Steph Curry was talking about how the team has, quote, championship DNA, end of quote. You're in the middle of this thing. Can you kind of describe what that championship DNA looks and feels like to you?
Yeah, being able to have, guys who've been on championship runs and been on championship teams, Andre and Steph and Clay, and even long-term members on the coaching staff, they know what it takes, to get there. They know how meticulous things need to be, the details, positions that really matter. So just little small details like that, just because everything matters in the playoffs, and being able to look behind you and have the confidence in these guys who've been there before makes it a lot easier.
Well said. Jordan Poole is joining us. So you're on the road, and let's face it, the refs were not exactly doing you guys any favors. Draymond Green gets ejected. Seems to me that even with that DNA, that championship DNA, it might have been easy to lose focus, maybe even let go of the rope. What did you make of the ejection, and then what was the mood like in the locker room at halftime?
In terms of the ejection, I personally didn't think it was going to be a flagrant 2. I mean, I think everybody kind of, has a sense that hard fouls happen in the playoffs. And, it was just a quick on-ball play, but they gave him a flagrant 2, ejected him. And we kind of been up and down all year. We've been through a couple rough patches, and, that's where we really found out who we were as a team. And we were able just to play through that, bounce back through the adversity. And we know it's going to be tough. Just because it's the playoffs, we're on the road, and, we're getting every team's best punch. So being able to find ways to just, close out big games against a really good team on the road, especially in the playoffs, was big for us.
We're talking to Jordan Poole. Jordan, you had 17 points and 6 assists in the second half alone. Steph Curry said this about you. He said, quote, he hasn't been on this stage before. It's not something you can teach in terms of being ready for a moment like this, end of quote. So my question is, how have you been ready for the moment time and time again when you haven't necessarily been in the moment before, at least not on a stage like this?
I mean, just asking questions, and trying to simulate the best possible way I can to put myself in that position when the time comes, and being around the teammates that I have and, the amazing team that we had. We knew it was going to be a matter of time. The last 2 years we didn't make the playoffs, but, in those 2 years I was able to gain as much knowledge as possible on the court, off the court, mentally, physically, and, even strategically to, try to be best prepared as possible to, step up for big moments in the playoffs, and whenever my team needs me.
Talking to Jordan Poole, you did it again yesterday. In fact, you were this close to a 31-point triple-double. So obviously you can score with the best of them, but how much of your approach is just to go out there and be a playmaker? Like at this point, how would you summarize your role in the offense?
Just be aggressive. The coaching staff and the guys on the team trust me to go out there and just be who I am, play my game, and, be able to attack and be aggressive anytime with the ball. But I'm also just a team player, and trying to put these guys like Steph, Draymond, Clay, Wiggs, Loon, in, really good situations to just make it easy for them, to play to their strengths, to get easy buckets, to be able to step off the ball a little bit, to get Clay and catch and shoot opportunities, or easy mismatch post-ups. So just being a team player, because at the end of the day, all that really matters is winning, and luckily I have, the keys to the offense to, kind of just play my game.
Talking to Jordan Poole, it's interesting what you just said about the goal is just to be a team player. I get that. I understand that. But against the Nuggets, for instance, Draymond referred to you as the team's, quote, number one option. All right. That's really high praise coming from Draymond, given the other guys on that team. How would you describe the relationship you have with him?
Yeah, Draymond is a big bro. I mean, my first year, as soon as I came in, he took me under his wing, and he made sure that my locker was next to his, and any questions that I had or anything that I needed to know, I could just go to Draymond, whether it was in the locker room, on the road, just casually hanging out, and so being able to have somebody who, accepts me how he does and, wants to see me succeed and, is very willing to answer any questions that I have makes it a lot easier just to build that relationship, build that chemistry, especially having a couple years of an age difference. It makes it a lot easier.
Talking to Jordan Poole for a few more moments. Listen, it's just me on the outside looking in, but it seems to me you have really worked your ass off since you got drafted. And before that as well, I'm curious, where does that work ethic and that love of the grind come from?
Me and my friend Raylan talk about this all the time, and I think it's just the Midwest grind. It's cold and it's 10 degrees all winter, and you just got to find a way to get up and just continue to get going. And being from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's kind of something that just has been built to me and instilled to me. And I just happen to love the game. So now that I'm able to do this for 24 hours a day, it makes it pretty fun to go in there and just find ways to get better, on the court and, whether it's film or, like I said, asking questions.
Hey, Jordan, it's kind of counterintuitive when you say that. I'll give you an example. Like, you talk about that Midwest grind, that it's 10 degrees out there, you got to grind. And I'm not in any way trying to compare you to my high school son, but I've got, we're California natives. We sent our older son to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and he made it clear, and that's the kid who likes to get in, throw the weights around a little bit. He said, Dad, it's tough, man. It's tough when it's 10 degrees. We don't want to go outside. We don't want to go to the gym. So it's kind of counterintuitive, right, what you're saying. How did you flip that on its head? Is that just a way of telling yourself, look, you have to do the things you don't want to do in order to make it? Because it does seem counterintuitive to me.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't stop. It's going to be tough, and you're going to face adversity, and it's going to be hard. But if you're able to just push through that and make it a part of who you are, make it a part of your routine, it just becomes natural, and over time, everything will take care of itself.
All right, so this is interesting. You've been talking about how one of the ways that you got yourself to the place where you are right now is just by asking questions and looking at the guys around you. So I know you're not looking to make it about you. That said, earlier this season, James Weissman adopted a couple of cats and said that you were the inspiration behind that. For people who do not know, what are the names of your cats and how long have you had them?
Yeah, I have a cat named Coda, Big Coda, Cocoa Toast. And then I got a couple cats at home that my parents have at their house. But I had them for a couple years since I got out to the day. They're pretty awesome. I heard you're a cat guy yourself.
Dude, I am a cat guy myself, and I'm not going to apologize. Not only am I not going to apologize for it, man, I'm all about it. I'm about that life. Help me explain to them. Look, if they don't get it, they don't get it. You and I aren't going to convince them of it. But what are people missing that are constantly cracking back on cats? And cats are cool. Cats are smart. Cats are fun. Like, what do you get out of the relationship with the cats?
Yeah, I definitely love animals first and foremost. So it's not like I'm more of a cat than a dog guy, but it has always been a lot easier to, maintain for a cat. All you have to do is give them water, clean a litter box every couple of days, and they kind of just do their thing. Like they come to you whenever they want to be pet or they want to chill or they want to cuddle, but other than that, they just kind of roam around the house, and they don't mind you, like they don't bug you. They're not making noise all the time. They're just the level of maintenance is really low, and it makes it really easy when you're always on the road to go to games and you're gone for weeks at a time. I don't know. It's pretty dope.
Preach, dude. Preach, dude. That's exactly what that is. Just because we like cats or love cats does not mean we're anti-dog. There is something to be said. By the way, this is the biggest reason why I'm a cat guy more than a dog guy, at least a cat owner, the maintenance is not as great. It's easier, and they're cool as bleep. So you and I are on the same page. Listen, one last thought. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that about you. You transferred from King High, last thought, in Milwaukee to prep school in Indiana, where you were teammates with Jaren Jackson Jr., who is now in Memphis. I'm curious, what was that time in Indiana like in terms of being away from home at a young age? And then how much did that prepare you for playing at Michigan?
Yeah, being able to make the decision to go prep school my senior year, I had already committed my junior year to go to Michigan. And it was just more so to get prepared lifestyle-wise, living by myself, living in the dorm, time management, having to get up and go to class on time or go to practice and, et cetera. And Jaren is my brother, man, and it's actually crazy to see that we're going against each other in our playoff series right now, and it's just really fun to be a part of because, we talked about this in our dorm rooms, every single day, and we even went to rival colleges, so being able just to, grind with him every single day, in high school and to see everything that he's done and the impact that he's had and to play against him on the highest stages is amazing. But, we just kind of prepared each other and always pushed each other. And we got to Michigan, and he went to Michigan State. We just found ways to continue to keep grinding and, took that hard work ethic and approach and, applied it to where we are now.
It's a really cool anecdote, a really cool conversation. And Jordan, I appreciate this so much. I understand this time of year especially, it's tough to make time for things like this. So I really appreciate you doing it. Great to have you on the show. Thank you very much, man. Great talking to you.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day, Jordan. Really appreciate you. Jordan Poole, another cat guy. Well, a hooper, to be sure, but a cat guy. I'm telling you, cats have such a bad rap with some of you losers. Cats are cool, man.